Hey folks, welcome back to the Portable Gamer, welcome back to RaceRoom Racing Experience, and welcome to the Sachsenring. And man, I don't know what to call this. I don't know if this is a DLC or a patch. I guess it's a little bit of both. This is the Group 4 Porsche 934, and man, end of the year, perfect timing. I don't know if there's been a DLC that I've enjoyed as much as this one. Kind of snuck up on me like several DLC have lately. I didn't hear a ton about it, but then I saw it and grabbed it right away. I guess it's a DLC. The RaceRoom Racing Experience model is a little bit different. You go to their website, their actual like .com website. You log in with your Steam account ID, and you buy things on their website, and then it automatically drops it into your game in Steam. As far as I know, when you download the game or any patches, all the content is included, and then when you buy something in their store, it essentially just turns it on and makes it usable, but it's all there. And these are the only Group 4 cars at the moment. It's just this first model for Group 4, but I assume they're going to add more. So anyway, enough about DLC, enough about RaceRoom. Let's talk about this car. So this is the Porsche 934. This is a Group 4 race car made in 1976, homologated to the Porsche 911 Turbo. And it really is homologated. You can see, like, when we come around here, it's still got the polymer bumper pads on the back. Like, this is essentially a production car. It's got the extended air dam on the front for the bigger oil cooler, and they did tweak the motor. From a dealer, like pulling out of a dealership, the 911 Turbo in 76 would make about 275 horsepower by the US measurement. Race prepped as it is with race pistons and a few other changes, with 18 pounds of boost, it was making about 450 on the hairdryer. And oh, lock those brakes. Yeah, that's me right there. 5'2". Just, yeah. It's a new car. I'm getting used to it. So at 18 PSI, I'd make about 450. If you bumped it to 20 PSI, you could get 500 horsepower out of it, but you would tear the motor up, cylinder wall scorching and blow by, and just a lot of problems for running over boost. But it would make an honest 500 horsepower. So that's the good news. The bad news is it's a 911 with no traction control and no ABS. So what's the problem with that? Well, this is the era, the mid-70s is the era when the 911 got the reputation as the doctor killer, right? Because it doesn't drive like anything else. And when it started getting over, even in production trim, when it started getting over like 250 horsepower, you know, the thing wants to loop the best of times. And then you throw in a big blower, get it really overpowered, and put it in the hands of somebody who doesn't know what they're doing, and add a lot of turbo lag, and it really will loop on you with virtually no warning. And the recovery when you start to haze the rear in the 911 is different than every other car out there. Basically, you don't countersteer, and you certainly don't lift, and you also don't stomp down hard like you would in a front engine rear-wheel drive car and just do a controlled slide with the rear. Basically, you very slowly add throttle. And the reason you do is because the center of mass in the 911 is so far to the rear that when you gas on, it squats the rear and drives grip into the rear tires. So when the car starts to fade, you just slowly accelerate. And the tricky part with the turbo is you may be accelerating on like atmospheric horsepower and squatting the back end down very nicely, and then the turbo kicks in, and all of a sudden it turns into a helicopter, right? So the turbo lag is captured in this DLC. It's just amazing. And I picked the Sachsenring just kind of randomly because it's a nice German track, but it really suits this car. And when I say it suits this car, I mean it is an absolute nightmare, because so many of these turns are blind and decompressing. So with the turbo lag, you have to gas on in a lower gear than you would normally run. So third gear turn is a second gear turn. Second gear turn is first gear. You have to gas on before you normally would to try to spool up the turbo. And what happens is the turbo is kicking in. All that horsepower is hitting. Essentially, as you crest the exit, it decompresses and you lose all your grip. And I mean the track decompresses, not the turbo. So it is... it's a super, super fun car to drive, super challenging. Braking is a nightmare. Acceleration is a nightmare. Timing, exits, getting on the apex and trying to stay there with the back end trying to swap out on you. It is an absolute nightmare, and it is fantastic. This is one of the most fun cars that I've driven this year. I've really been enjoying it. It's going to take me a long time to get used to it on this track, on any track. But yeah, for sure, check it out. It is the Porsche 934 Group 4 DLC. It's in the RaceRoom Racing Experience store now. Take a look at it. Well worth the money. Folks, thanks for stopping back to check out the Portable Gamer. Thanks for joining us for another episode of a RaceRoom Racing Experience, and we will see you next time. Take care now.